Fade it down.
We got to screen that. We got to grab that. We got to screen the little promo.
So we're back again. You can't shake us that easy. Bleary-eyed, however goofy, punchy, you guys might be, or these guys look with all the work they've been doing. There's a guy behind the scenes right now who's honestly like 90% dead right now, and that's Amit. So once again, we're going to give it up for Amit.
Kicking ass
and keeping us all together right now. He's got IVs and transfusions going on to just keep him upright. And somehow he's, just mainlining. He's pouring coffee directly into his eyeballs to stay awake. But somehow he's done it, and somehow he's made it through this draft. And we're almost through it as well. Approaching the beginning of round 6, the Patriots have pick 180. We're not there yet. We're near the tail end of round 5. And yes, it does appear that the Patriots did exactly what we thought might happen. Again, with you don't have a lot of collateral with 2 6ths and a 7th to move up here. So getting into that 5th round, unless you had traded down from any of your 4th round picks, was kind of an impossibility. So here they are at 180, kind of the weird zone of I don't know, let's throw some darts here. We should point out they were successful here last year, picking late. It got at least one clear keeper in Demario Douglas, and who knows with Keishon Butte, but somebody who, again, this is where you get your troubled players, your red flags, your fallers, your weird physical freaks, your lacrosse players and your wrestlers, your guys who've been playing football for a year, guys who are super fast but can't do anything else, guys who aren't great super fast but they have great lower level college production. That's kind of where we are right now.
And Tom Brady. Don't forget Tom Brady.
And Tom Brady. We have satisfied our craving for offensive players. That doesn't mean we don't want more. So guys, I can put up your boards in a little bit once we have these all together, but just positionally here, again, do you target a position for at spots in the draft where you're likely not going to make a roster? The percentages of 6th and 7th round picks that stick are small-ish at this point, with what's left.
I think there's still some pretty quality players. Yeah, there's some guys who I think could at least be in the mix on the roster next year at this range. I think really when we get more towards the end of the 6th is when that may start to tail off. I was looking at tight end, and there's only 2 or 3 guys that I really like there. Yeah, I think the 7th this is one of those drafts where people are saying the 7th you're pretty much, and this is sometimes the case, but they're pretty much undrafted free agents at that point where, like you said, you're taking, for the Patriots, I'm projecting they're going to take a really athletic corner who Isaiah Bolden, Amir Speed fits that height, weight, speed kind of profile. But I think there's still some quality guys left where they should be picking.
It's that part in the draft. Kadlick is rated the 8th best quarterback remaining at this point, and that's kind of where you're at.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean it's dart throws for sure, but again they hit oftentimes, so it's not and not that they do this, but it's not like you can just pack it in. You still gotta read it out, see who falls. This is where for the Patriots, yes, you mentioned them, satisfying their craving for offensive talent. They can go defense here if they want. If they have a defender they really love, I think, you don't think so, John?
I'm just messing around.
I was going to say they can sort of take a swing here and try and fill that out because look, they're going to have to take a defender at one point. It's just I find it very hard to believe that they go 8 picks all offense. Again, crazier things have happened, but
the sins I think of the father. You're paying for the sins. You're paying for the sins of the father here.
Yeah, I know. But this is where they can take that swing, and I feel like Patriots fans won't be as upset if they did it at call it pick 34.
I don't think anyone is upset with anything at this point. But are you for it's more strategic here? I think again you always want to see that the high upside guy, but also this is where you're getting your special teams. You're plugging holes, and again, players that might be able to stick in some capacity or projects, big time projects at this point. But do you want to see a big swing, Taylor, or are you just grab some bodies and see if they can, fill a backup role or something like that? Are you looking for your next DeMario here?
I don't know if there's a ton of swings they can take, really. I can check again. But I do like we'll go over the prospects. But Tanner McLaughlin's one of my guys who I think really could be a legitimate quality player with starter upside who's still available. I'm going to go through the list right now and see who's undrafted still on the board. Jaheim Bell is someone I know a lot of people like. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. Like, people say he's a use check type. Juszczyk is one of one. It's kind of like a Debo where he's always the prototype, but it's like, yeah, but no one is him. Although his versatility is pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm looking at the board and I'm not really over the moon for a lot of the guys here. So at this point, yeah, maybe you get like a tight end and a running back. Isaiah Davis just went off the board. Interestingly, Jordan Travis is off the board if they wanted to double dip at quarterback, although I don't love his game either, to be totally honest. But Dylan Laube is still there. So
that's
if you want to swing, yeah, he's probably the most exciting prospect, I think. Him and Tanner McLaughlin for me on offense are those more exciting kind of guys.
McLaughlin's interesting because it's a notably weak tight end class, right? It's Brock Bowers and then pretty much everybody else. Jadeveon Sanders a little bit, I guess, is higher up on the board, but it's really bunched together. And I say that because obviously, Taylor, we refer to a lot of well-respected draft guys, and one of the best is Daniel Jeremiah, and he actually had Tanner McLaughlin as his second tight end behind Brock Bowers. So. Take that for what it's worth. I feel like that's an interesting little nugget. Again, they're bunched up, and it's a weaker class, like I said, Bowers and everybody else. But for DJ to have McLaughlin as his number 2, I think is pretty noteworthy for him still being on the board.
I think also it's pretty noteworthy that the Patriots were able to get something for N'Keal Harry, as I'm seeing pick 231. Yes. So there's some value there. The N'Keal, isn't that so sad? Look at that. Mac Jones, first round pick. It's just the saddest thing on that full screen right there. It's like they got a 6th round pick for their franchise quarterback they took 3 years ago, and a 7th rounder for their number 1 receiver they took, a couple years prior. It's just like, oh man.
Both 1st round picks. If you want a guy who they take a swing on who's exciting, Quintez Stiggers is a guy who I know they had in for a visit. I think he played in the CFL or something.
CFL, yep.
Yeah. CFL. But he's got a really interesting profile. I tried to look at like highlights or tape. I couldn't find any. The only highlights I could find were basically punts that he picked off. It was pretty funny, but he does have the kind of size and explosiveness that they like. So if you want to swing in a guy who may be a little out of left field, I think he kind of fits that profile. Again, interesting height, weight, speed kind of situation there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And as we said, we'll go through your list here in a little bit as we get a little bit closer. We're 175, and we'll throw out some names and some positions that they might attack here shortly. But in the meantime, I wanted to ask you guys, and hold on, we did not get the chat. We saw Walker's Instagram IG post, right? Baker's Instagram post, which again, confident, interesting. Dude, and definitely he's got a lot of swag, but then he met with the media and he was just dropping gems left and right. And again, you talk about swagger, and for those who didn't see the IG post, you all messed up. Every one of you messed up. Not, you're gonna pay for it. You should have drafted me. I waited too long. So he's got that swag, and then he went on with the media. And again, this guy certainly has a pretty healthy opinion of himself.
Awesome, Patriots fans, about your game.
Hey, just come to the home stadium and bring out popcorn. That's all I can tell y'all. Bring your popcorn. I make people in wheelchairs stand up. Bring your popcorn.
That was awesome.
Good.
I love that.
As soon as he said the first thing, baby. He had that first quote, and I was just like, all right, my fingers are on the keyboard. I'm typing every word.
So good. So again, you love that. I mean, you love it when it works, right? When it doesn't, it's like, but I mean, what position in sports do you need a little bit of swag more? I'm talking in all the sports than receiver. Corners too, because they gotta go up against these guys. It's just you, and you're on these islands, and you just gotta go and you gotta do it. But receiver's like, I'm the guy that's going to make this thing happen. Give me the ball. And you do have, and again, I know people are going to be looking at 40 times. You do have two guys that when the ball's in the air want the ball more than anything else, more than anybody on the planet wants anything. And that's kind of what you got here with these two receivers. And again, we talked about it at the end as we break down how you got to this point. You traded from 34 to 37 and ended up with Jalen Polk and it's Javon, not Javon, the way he wants it pronounced, we've been told, Javon Baker here with this receiver haul. And again, you got a little bit of attitude, you got a little bit of grit, you got some guys who want to get up and go after it. And it's just like you said, is just listening to him talk right away. You're like, this is going to be fun to cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you talk about these guys like downfield. I think Greg Kide posted they both had perfect grades on deep targets, which Drake May, I said bombs a May because that's his game. He likes to go deep downfield, and these are guys who can win that way. And also Jim Nagy for the Senior Bowl said, I'll pull up the exact quote that he used, but he basically called out that he was, I think, the 5th fastest player they tracked or something like that. And like was basically trying to get the point across that even though Javon Baker didn't run the 40 very well, like we said, he's a fast dude. It's a little bit more build-up speed. He's not like he'll blow past you immediately, but he's fast and has enough to win vertically and be that threat after the catch. But yeah, also just personality, man. He's fascinating.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah. I mean, it's what you need. We talked about a billion times, I feel like, on these streams, which, you know, John, if we're still keeping track, I think this is number 7.
Yeah.
You're talking about, you know, character guys and guys who are you know, who are just good fits in the room. This one's a little different, but it's not in a negative way. It's just in a confident way, in a alpha male, number 1 true X wide receiver way. And I can't wait. I can't wait to cover him. And in the chat, someone just said Stiggers is gone. Contest Stiggers just went. I'm kind of surprised. I feel like you know, Patriots could have got him later on. He, you know, there was thoughts that he might even end up going undrafted, but I liked his game a lot. They need help at cornerback too. So
yeah. All right, let's go, Miles Harton.
We're getting close. 176 Jets on is where did he go?
He went to the Jets. So now we're in the
that just happened. Jets. So we are now at 177. Patriots are at 180. Coming up in just a little bit. 180. Their last 2 picks, as we had said here, 103 and 110 were made hours ago. The good thing about the gap is Ahmet got 4 minutes of sleep, which was great.
Seriously.
You know, in between doing everything else that he had to do. So that was pretty good. But again, as we said, you know, a big gap here between rounds 4 and round 6 here coming up at 180. And then you have that Mac Jones pick that is also going to come into play here later. We are going to hang through pick 193 and then probably give it a wrap. These guys might be back a little bit later, but that's probably what we're going to do today on the draft. And honestly, it's possible we've already done too much. But hey, you guys are still here, and we're fun.
Yeah,
it's fun hanging out. If you're here, we're here, right? You know, there's no reason. There's no reason to not be. As well. So final thoughts here on the earlier picks before we move ahead, guys?
According to plan.
Sorry. Hey, you got it, buddy.
No, according to plan, just quickly. I mean, offense. And that's, you know, that's what we needed. They need to revamp that offensive, you know, the players there. So like it's hard to be disappointed about it again, because they have hit all 3 needs at quarterback, offensive tackle, and wide receiver.
Yeah. This was an older post from Jim Nagy just talking about the speed versus the timed speed of a player, you know, like Baker. Just talking about prior to Mobile, biggest question was speed. 5th fastest overall player. Only wide receiver faster was Tez Walker. Equally impressive 3rd best max deceleration. So again, in and out of cuts, separation, that's the kind of stuff that shows up on the field, maybe more so than from a 3-point stance running in a straight line. Former 4-star Alabama recruit. And again, we've seen the argument, if Baker had the same exact college tape, but with an Alabama helmet, he'd be getting earlier round buzz. So again, another person coming out with a lot of things to say about that Javon Baker pick. It's why you guys had him high on your board to the point that you were interested in him potentially even in the third round as a prospect, and to get him in the fourth there, I think certainly a lot of people are pretty psyched about that. We're going to bring up Tayler Kyles' top targets here. It's possible some of these, a couple of these are gone. We had to build this list earlier, but let's go through a couple here, Taylor.
Yeah, so Tanner McLaughlin, I already touched on him. I think he could be a well-rounded tight end. Travis Glover is one of my dudes. I loved him at the Senior Bowl. I think he could be a good versatile tackle with some starting potential, at the very least a spot starter. Gabriel Murphy's an interesting one. He was the guy who played across from Latu Latu. Is a good pass rusher. He had some lane discipline issues from what I saw, but he's got an intriguing skill set, can play inside and outside. Christian Boyd's a guy that I believe they hosted for a 30 visit, kind of in the mold of that undersized, explosive, kind of short-armed interior defensive lineman they've had a lot of interest in the pre-draft process. And then Dylan Laube. Like, I think he overlaps with Antonio Gibson, but he's such a fun player. He was cool to talk to at the
Breaking news. Luke Cornett is available tonight. Sorry, I had to get it out there.
So that's how it feels when I do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
I did the Taylor.
Yep. And the Taylor's like, what? And it's about the Celtics center.
It's your third center. He's available. Luke Cornett. Anyway, go ahead, Taylor.
But yeah, no, Dylan Laube, local guy, a lot of fun. Like that. He has a Danny Woodhead skill set. He just does. He practiced route running with Christian McCaffrey's brother Luke, who was drafted in the third round. So yeah, he's another fun guy.
Yeah. And let's bring up Mike's big five here.
All right, baby. What do we got? Makai Wingo, defensive tackle, LSU.
The guy just pulled these out of a hat 5 minutes ago. But let me try to remember what it is.
Yeah, that's okay. Makai Wingo, someone you can add to. Well, all right. Most of them are legit. The fifth one in Keaton Slovis. I'm going to start with him. It's not really a target for me. He kind of is. I mean, I'd be happy because I've loved.
I made him do it
since his time at USC. I bet Keaton Slovis to win the Heisman back-to-back years in like 2020 and 2021. He obviously didn't do that, but he was good at USC. He went to Pitt, struggled, went to BYU, struggled a bit more, still found his way into the NFL draft. Good question, Bobby. According to Taylor, it's probably Cole Strange. It's probably David Andrews, Jake Andrews, and then Cole Strange is the.
What do you want for your third center?
Jaheim Bell, Taylor mentioned he's not a huge fan. I don't necessarily disagree on the fact that he's not a the heck's the guy's name? Juszczyk. But they did show interest in him. I believe they met with him at their pro day, and I think they also had him up for a 30 visit. So fit, I don't know, but at least somebody to watch because there's been some breadcrumbs there. And then Frank Crum is a left tackle prospect, which I think they could potentially take a swing at in the later rounds because you talk about Wallace being that guy, but besides that, they don't really have a actual left tackle on the roster besides Connor McDermott. So
yeah. So there we go. There's some names, and honestly, you know what the good part about this point in the draft, you can't get mad anymore, right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, okay, let's see if that person can do anything. But you can get a little excited. You can say, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, this is an interesting one. So again, it's intrigue, it's upside, it's who the hell knows. It's a bit of a dart throw. And this is kind of fun. This is house money. You pluck someone here. And again, the Patriots have had success both with late round picks and undrafted free agents quite a bit over the years. In fact, late round picks have saved a lot of not so great drafts that maybe the top had produced ordinary NFLers and were able to get some really quality ones late. Again, sixth round is very late for this sort of thing. But was Douglas a sixth rounder last year? I forget.
Yeah.
DeMario?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both him and Booty were sixth rounders.
Booty was sixth or seventh, I thought. I couldn't remember. So
Booty went first.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Booty went first.
Oh, seventh was the corner. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting one. Johnny Wilson is still on the board, which I did not expect. Like everybody talks about Keon Coleman as like a prototypical X. I disagreed. I think he's more a guy you got to move around a little bit, but can play X. Johnny Wilson was the X at Florida State. Now, his ball skills were a little up and down. That was kind of a big issue for him. But he's a rare athlete. He's much more athletic than people give him credit for. Everyone talks about him like he's a tight end. He's not a tight end. He's much more fluid then a tight end, was one of the most productive isolated receivers in college football last season. So I don't think the Patriots are going to take 3 receivers, but if he keeps falling and they have a pick, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go because he's a talented player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Where are we now? We're close. 179 Seattle, and the Seattle pick is in. This is gonna pop on Twitter any second.
Yeah. So the Patriots are on the clock.
That's on the clock. Here we go. Patriots on the clock, pick 180. So we've got something to talk about in a little bit. And again, pardon us if we have to Google, because we might have to. We have no idea where this name's coming from right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Go ahead, guys. Give it to me.
Refresh.
Give it to me, chat. Who do you want? Taylor? Should Taylor
I would
just say yes.
Gabe Murphy. Those are my guys.
Okay. Is McLaughlin's still there?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
I think they're going to go defense.
I think so too.
That's my guess. Chat, do we want defense or do we want all offense? DB.
Marcellas Dial. So they get a cornerback. Let's see.
Oh, it happened?
Yep, they got Marcellas Dial cornerback. All right, so let's look him up real quick. There's another guy. I didn't study a whole lot of defenders. Only really corners they had in for visits. I don't think they had him in for a visit. But another area position to need. So let me look him up real quick. All right. So according to Dane Brugler, looking at his scouting report, a 3-year starter at South Carolina, Dial played outside corner in defensive coordinator Clayton White's multiple coverage scheme. Once he arrived in Columbia, he was one of the most productive defensive backs in the SEC with a combined 25 passes defended over the last 2 seasons. Dial is a good-sized athlete with the length and speed desired at the position, but his lack of fluidity hurts his ability to stay connected and press man. Though he can click and close with a head of steam, his instincts are spotty, and finishing skills as a tackler need to be addressed. Overall, Dial has the ball skills and burst that give him a chance to earn an NFL role, but his undisciplined spacing and coverage must improve to match up with NFL receivers. He could be an option for zone schemes, so that's pretty interesting.
Okay. So, again, this could be in the special teams sort of mold here. This is a bottom of the roster sort of thought, but again, couple pop off the charts sort of measurables for this player. Again, a 4.46 speed, a 40-inch vertical leap here. So again, bringing some athleticism here as well. Supposedly a man coverage cornerback, but he has some of the physical tools that you would need there. But as you said, Taylor, lacks a little bit of refinement here. I don't know if this is a person who might be able to stick in the backfield or strictly special teams, but again, this is what you get with your 6th round pick. Anybody have this guy remotely on your radar?
No.
Not really. No, I really only looked at the corners that they had in for visits. I wasn't locked in on offense.
But Mike Reese, I just got to say, that dude is too good at this. Before they were even on the clock, Mike Reese put 4 phone emojis and writes, "Time to dial up some D." And I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're going to go defense. Not only are they going defense, they drafted a defender with the last name Dial. Mike was that dialed in that he knew the pick like 3 picks before. It's clever. That's why he's the best.
So ESPN guys aren't allowed to tip picks.
Right. Yeah, but they can do that.
Because
on this guy.
You got to watch the product. Yeah.
Because Evan says he's a man corner, so there's some disparity there.
That's the profile that I had read was that as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That a man corner.
Pre-snap recognition and instincts fall below the mark, and run support is below average.
Sounds like rotational corner in obvious pass situations. And Mike Pellegrino, if you want a guy to get better technique-wise, you give him to Pellegrino. So I like it.
He likes it. Patriots it's 10 more picks until they go, and we'll see where we're at here. But again, Marcellas Dial the pick, the first defense. I'm curious if we know the last time they waited this long to draft defense. I would imagine the answer is never.
Yeah, seriously.
Not in the Belichick era.
I would imagine this is never here. And as we said, the Patriots taking this corner still have pick 193. We are at 182 right now, and we've told you about as much as we can possibly tell you about Marcellas Dial. Some people in the chat here seem to know and like some things about him. So again, I'm not really sure what type of player they got here and what we are fully expecting to do. So one more pick here, 193. They have gone defense. I don't know. I mean, a lot of the names you guys mentioned still there, so there's still something that I want one more big Tayler reaction out of this day before we're done. I want to see it pop one more time. Yeah,
You and me both, brother.
I want to see it. And again, I'll throw it up again just to see what we were looking at here. Have we lost any of these people? I feel like running back. I honestly, again, positionally speaking, I feel like this is the spot for running back. How many running backs have gone so far?
Let's see. Looking it up now. Prospects.
I will say right now we have Brooks for sure. Benson, core 3, 4, 5.
Jalen Wright, SMA.
But
17 running backs have gone.
17 have gone.
Sione Baki went to the Lions in the 4th round.
How many running backs
17, the way I can see. Yeah.
have already gone?
Yep.
Holy
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks, Jalen Wright, Trey Benson, Marshawn Lloyd, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Ray Davis, Will Shipley, Blake Corum, Isaac Garendo, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, Audric Estime, Rasheen Ali, Keelan Robinson, Bucky Irving, Kamani Vidal, and Sione Baki.
And Tyrone Tracy Jr., I believe, as well was in there. I don't know if he said that.
He went.
So there we go.
Yesterday. Yesterday.
No. He went in the. I thought he went.
That was fifth, earlier this afternoon.
He went in the 5th. He went today. So
my bad. My bad. I missed off.
So yeah, this is, and again, this felt like a place where they were going to do that, but again, need and the pressing need for both receiver and and offensive line trumped everything. And again, now you're just kind of, if it wasn't already clear, it's pretty clear. They had to fix a couple of things, or at least take a first swing and put some spackle on some of the gaping holes on their on their roster right now. And again, that's what they did, and we are fully into as we said, gravy sort of mode right here. There's a lot to like athletically with the pick here, and they did that last year, right? I mean, you got a couple of guys who could burn, even though mainly special teamers.
Kyle had elite explosive grades and great speed grades by relative athletic score. His agility grades were just poor, and he's light for the position.
Yeah, he's light.
Yeah,
5'11", 190. Definitely has enough speed to play outside. As you said, quickness not great, but the explosive metrics is with the leaping and everything like that. He's he can get up after it. So we'll see here with what's going on.
Evan tweeted, heard some good things about Dial's week at the Shrine Bowl this year. He has also played some safety and slot, feels similar to Amir Speed and Isaiah Bolden last year.
That's what we were saying earlier, is someone who can run special teams sort of, situation could seem to come into play. And if you're able to put any sort of depth in that defensive backfield, that's fine. That's fine as well. All right, guys.
What are we at? 184. So we're coming down to it.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming down to it.
Where's Tanner? Is he still there? Maybe they go someone like Christian Boyd or something. Maybe they just stick to defense here, but I would like to see them get a tight end.
Tight end would be good. Someone along the defensive line could also be good.
Yeah. Outside of what they've done already, I did want to ask this question because this has been kind of interesting to me, and I'm not saying it anything bad happened here, but it is particularly interesting when you see a situation like the Eagles and how their draft goes down. And Roseman, is very much considered one of the best in the business when it comes to that. There's a couple of facets to drafting, right? There's having the personnel people and or the conviction in your decisions to be able to pick the right types of players that you need. Deciding what you need and when, always having to look ahead. Like I can't have no receivers under contract 4 years from now, and you want to be able to spread and space things out. It's something that you have to consider as well. Patriots didn't do a great job at that recently. They had a lot of clusters of positions all coming up at the same time. This year, tight end, for example, was one. When you see that happen, it's never necessarily great. But the notion of when to wait for stuff to fall to you and still get what you need, and when to move and to move around. You look at what Philly did, for example. You wait and you get arguably the top two corners in the draft at 22 and 40. That's insane to me that they did that, and they were both positional needs, and everyone's like, wow, how lucky are they? Last year they had like the best defense. They keep having these elite defensive players fall to them, and they're like, how are they doing this? How do they keep doing this? It's not luck, it's skill. So while you might have someone like Elliott Wolf, and again, I'm not saying this is a knock, but it is interesting. If Wolf is running this room, he's a scout, a head scout here. There's no question in terms of you would believe in the ability to evaluate talent. But I wonder how different you guys think it is when it's actually your job to go in there and run the draft. And you're in there and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, this is harder than I thought. I hearken back to Don Sweeney in his first year with the Bruins, and they had 3 first picks, and they were 3 first-round picks, and that was the dreaded Zach Senyshyn, DeBrusque, and Zaboral draft, where everyone assumed, they're going to move up. They're going to try to get Hannafin, and nobody answered their phone. Nobody did anything, and all of a sudden it got to Sweeney.
And then you just got a freaking pick. Yeah.
You're going to pick these guys? Holy crap. I'm not saying this is happening here, but I think being in your first draft, there's something to be said for draft experience and being able to run it. And
you mentioned being you mentioned being a scout versus Taylor. What's the face for?
ESPN had Marcellas Dial labeled as a safety.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
So, listen, Evan pointed that out in his thing. Played some safety, some outside. He can profile as a safety, so maybe that's what they're picking him as.
I looked at the career snaps. He's played much more corner than safety, but to see him put there.
Maybe X is a free safety here at the next level. That might be how they're looking at it. You see that all the time. That guy played tackle all his life, and they list him as a guard when they drafted. But anyway, Mike, you were saying?
No, just as far as being a scout versus actually running the show, right? Like, Wolf has prepared these, for these drafts, taking in all of his intel, scouting these guys, and then saying to the man in charge, this is the person I like. This is what I would do here. You make the decision. Now,
and then they have to figure it out. Yeah.
Right. Now he's the one who has to figure it out. He has to take the intel from the guys he trusts and make the decision on not only what he knows and what he sees, but also the opinions of all the other guys. So you're right. It's got to be a whirlwind to have to do that. And then not only are you doing that, but you're the point person making calls, trading back, trading forward. You're on the phone while also doing it. Like, I'm surprised we asked him on Thursday night, are you tired? Are you exhausted? Are you nervous? He was just like, no, I'm ready to go. So he seemed dialed in, but like you said, John, it's definitely a different beast when you're actually the one, running the operation.
I just wonder the challenges in there and how tough and stressful it is. And you don't really know until it happens, how to wheel and deal and how to make those moves. You saw that great clip that was posted with Arizona's GM with the Houston trade down. That was fun to watch, right? And it's like, not only do you have a good sense of what it's going to take to make this major, potentially franchise-altering move, you also know how fast you have to talk, just simply to get off the phone, to assess it, to get to your people, to talk about it, to call somebody else back. The pace of it all, it's really nuts. Yeah. If you're moving and you're trying to do a lot of things, you have to have so many things in mind. And I was so impressed by that because you can see it. It's like, they usually send the clips out of everybody kind of sitting back after they've decided, and they make it, and then they high five. But to watch, like, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Like, it's kind of interesting and stressful. And I could see why in year one, only one trade is what happened here. They might have gone in here with the idea that, like, let's trade a bunch, let's amass some picks, let's do what Bill does. Let's bop around. Like, how many Belichick drafts? Like, Bill does it all the time. He's just like trade. And it's like, then you get down to it and you're like, it's probably easier to say no.
Right. Jonathan, so you don't know. Video was me, where he's just so excited, just freaking happy to be there. I was like, if anyone ever let me into a war room, that's exactly what I would act like.
Like who?
Like Jonathan Gannon, the head coach.
Yeah.
Excited, just freaking juiced up.
He's like, what's going on here? This is amazing.
He's like, that's awesome. Yeah.
What? Look at this guy go. He's doing the thing.
There's a run on receivers right now, by the way. The Dolphins got Malik Washington, who was a Shrine Bowl standout. Yep. Basically, Demario Douglas, except I think a little more physical. Johnny Wilson went to the Eagles. Really good. Honestly, kind of like a Jordan Matthews now that I think about it. That's kind of funny. And Casey Washington went to the Falcons. Not a huge one, but that's 3 receivers in the last 4 picks. But actually 5, because Jaquan Jackson went to the Titans as well. So I don't think the Patriots are going to get another receiver. Just kind of interesting.
No. Board. One of our chatters here seems to have some intimate knowledge of Dial. Tremendous value, zone awareness for days. Didn't see the football thrown in his direction much. Outstanding ball skills when it does arrive. Doesn't miss any tackles either. Hey, I'll trust that. I'll trust that analysis.
These guys tape. I'm so excited. Like, I'm gonna do so. After this week, like, once everything settles down, I'm gonna start doing like deep profile dives so I can really get into the film. And like Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, and now Marcellas Dial. Man, I'm pumped. I'm not great at offensive line, so I'm not as excited. Although if offensive line play is still exciting. But those are my positions, like defensive back and receivers. So it's gonna be a good time.
So last draft must have been fun with the O-line stuff. I remember saying afterwards, like, do a video on the guards, and you're like, what am I gonna say about these guards? Like they're guards, man. Like
yeah, right. They guard.
They guard.
I tried to put some good stuff about Mafi, and I was just like, he's physical, but like other than that, I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because there's some red flags. But Patriots are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks away.
Yep, we're getting close.
Back, maybe a trade up.
Who knows? And you said there was just a receiver.
What do we think of Lobby here?
I still would rather McLaughlin because it's a bigger position in need. But if they take Lowry, period, I'm happy. I thought he was awesome. And I think they also had an informal meeting with him. So, but McLaughlin had a local
pro there, what have you?
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Just sneak.
Oh, we forgot to check out. What's his name? Dial is on Zoom, but I'm gonna skip it because we're coming up soon, and
catch it after the fact. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna get you guys through 193, and then these guys, like I said, are probably gonna scoot for a little bit. Might be some stuff coming up afterwards for you guys, for us to wrap it up here. But other than that, like I said, we're gonna hang till about 188. Here we are, 188. We're gonna hang till a little bit after 193. See who the Patriots grab. See if it's someone we have some familiarity with, and talk about that. As well, and then move it on. But I mean, fun weekend, interesting weekend. And again, I know there's a little bit of deflating kind of moments with some of the things because some things felt reachy and maybe people had other things on their mind. But the prove you wrong sort of thing is kind of interesting. And we don't have Dial on here yet, but Dial goes at round 6, 180. And then going back on here, which pick would you say you changed your mind the most about, given the benefit of a little bit of time? May, you were all in on, nobody has to think about it, but Polk is someone you didn't have on your, I would say the next 3 picks, nobody really had on their radar in that range or period, honestly, whereas Baker you had. Who have you come around on the most, just thinking about it, reading about it, looking at any film or tape? Mike?
Caden Wallace. All day. Yeah. The way I know, Taylor, you have the same answer, so sorry I had to go first, but it's Caden Wallace. I mean, look, John, you mentioned not having Polk on the radar. I didn't have him on the radar that early, but I was talked into, You know what? Switch it up. I'll give Taylor Caden Wallace. I've turned on Jalen Polk even more at pick 34 over the last day because at the time it felt like a little bit of a reach just because, AD Mitchell was there and we both projected Polk as more of a third round guy. But hearing around the league that, he could have been a first rounder. Peter Schrager loved him. It's just, it makes, not only
Evan
did
Lazar loved him. He had him as 24 overall, I think.
Exactly. And so they could have had him at 34 like they wanted.
She already loved him.
They traded back to 37 and got him. And then we're able to move up and get Javon Baker. So that pick, that execution was phenomenal. Sounds like Bobby Manning. Phenomenal.
Yeah, for me, it was Caden Wallace just because I thought he was the right tackle in the process and didn't really pay him a ton of mind because of that. I was like, all right, I had some idea of what his skill set was, but I was confused. I was like, all right, maybe I need to do some more digging because this doesn't make sense to me. The left tackle thing, I was like, all right, I get it. And I definitely warmed up to it. Layden Robinson would be my second one where it was only because I wanted them to get Javon Baker. Really, that was the biggest thing. I was like, I think you need another weapon. If you miss out on Baker, I'm going to be pissed. But after that happened, I was like, all right, yep, sweet. You got two pass catchers and 2 pass protectors and run blockers. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, we are 189, rounding the corner here to 190. Patriots are at 193. One more pick beyond that in the 227 range. Haven't heard from Ahmed in a while. Should I send somebody to his house and knock on the door, make sure he's okay?
I'll just check. So Andrew Callahan tweeted that Marcellas Dial said the team was impressed by his football IQ. Asked about his game, Dial said he has good ball skills and can test passes well, and that he's a sticky corner in coverage. Just his perspective. Also interesting, they liked his football IQ. That kind of makes you think that they're probably going to move him around.
It's an honor to be the first defensive player on their draft board.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, carry this for 1 second. I just got to do one thing. I'm popping.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think about Mekhi Wingo going to the Lions, which makes so much sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That was my guy. So now you got to take him off the graphic comic, get back in the lab. No, I mean, look, the Patriots could use some help there. I think Alex mentioned this morning on our show that a lot of their defensive linemen are, heading into contract years or close to it. Obviously, it seems more likely than not at this point that maybe by, next week even they could lock up Christian Barmore. But I liked Wingo, a guy who also played with, I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. I'm way too, my brain's a puddle, but there was a second LSU defensive tackle that they played together on the defensive line. And
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember either.
They worked well off each other. So you wonder how they can translate when they separate, obviously. But Wingo goes a lot of sense going to Detroit. So yeah, I mean, what do we have? 3 more picks. Philly. So Philly
traded their second consecutive pick, and that went to the Lions for Wingo.
Oh, okay. The Eagles have now executed 9 trades in this draft.
That's what I said.
Howie's on his shit.
It's just it's a skill, man. It's crazy. Like anything you've ever done in life, you think you think you got the skills, you do it for the first time, and you're like, this is really hard. So again, there's something to be said for how challenging the actual live draft, because the NFL draft is like nothing else. It's not, I mean, baseball draft is crazy too because there's 7,500 rounds, but like you're trying to stack. You're looking into the future. You're trying to figure out how things are going to work, salaries, blah, 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 and you're drafting people who are going to be useful to your organization all over the place. And there's so many names in so many different positions. You can go in a zillion different directions, but you got to have some conviction and just say, I like this guy. And again, it makes sense that that's why people, why you would stick and pick. Hold on 1 second, because moving around is stressful. Yeah.
I thought you wanted a little help. Marcellas Dial said he met Kendrick Bourne at a hibachi restaurant.
Interesting.
No. It's all good. I was trying to type a note while I was talking there. Philly on the clock, as we said, at 190. Anything else coming out of the Dial stuff that you guys see in terms of his, as we said, he's meeting the media right now?
Not really, but I will say everybody who was on my list is still on the board, so still hope for those guys.
Yeah, we could throw it up one more time and see top targets. And again, positionally, I like running back above all else here because I think it's actually something. I think it's someone who could stick on the roster as the position you draft them, not strictly a special teamer or anything like that. At this point, so we'll see. But again, as you said, 17 running backs went already. That's quite a few. So again, anything at this point is definitely a bit of a flyer. Pick 191 coming up. Arizona Patriots are almost on the clock. And see what we've got here. I would like to thank Bobby Manning for joining us from Miami. He's out there. He's at the arena right now watching this stream with the Celtics and the Miami Heat playing tonight. 6 p.m. game. Garden Report's going to be live right after that, Celtics versus Heat Game 3, so make sure that you tune in there. As we said, there's also a Bruins post-game show tonight over on our Bruins YouTube channel, so check that out. Bruins ringside. Cardinals pick is in, which means we are now at 192. Patriots are almost on the clock.
I love
and
faster.
It's great, right?
So much better.
It's great. And at this point, it's kind of like what's so interesting is the risk of your guy getting taken here is so much less, which is why it's so easy to just hand in a card quickly, right?
Right, exactly. And they usually, like, you've got your lists, and everybody's lists are so different. I feel like it creates more opportunity for certain guys to just get picked, and you got your backup plans.
Yeah. And we have Wingo off the board, but still plenty of Mike's guys still there.
Yeah, so Wingo's gone. Thanks for editing that. I was joking, Amit, that you had to edit the thing. John, when you were gone, we were talking that Wingo went, and I go, Amit, get back in the lab and go figure this thing out. But man, he does it. I don't know how. I don't know how Amit's still awake. I don't know how he's still alive. But Dylan Lelby is now the featured image on my graphic. So that's my pick. I like it here. I want them to go get Dylan Lelby at 193. Add to that running back room. I know that tight end, like you said, Taylor, is a little bit of more of a need just as far as just as far as contracts. Gibson's on a 1-year deal. What, Taylor?
Tajon Palmer went to the Cardinals.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
guy. I like him a lot, man. He's a freak athlete, like for real. And he's going to make a roster because he blocks his ass off and he's going to contribute on special teams. I really liked him.
Yeah. So if Lobby's there, I like it, but I understand going tight end instead because Henry and Hooper on 1-year deals, and Stevenson's going into a contract year, but Antonio Gibson on a 3-year deal. So a little bit more room to mess with the backs, where tight end is more of an immediate need. So I feel like they could likely go tight end at 190 if that's where they're looking. But they did also sign. They just signed someone else, Mitchell Wilcox. I mean, that doesn't do much, but it adds some depth to the position, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Frank Crum, left tackle, and Keaton Slovis, my guy. Wouldn't that be fun?
Who did the Seahawks take? The Patriots are on the clock.
Nobody is updating anything anymore, so it's slow. Patriots are on the clock?
Yeah.
Patriots on the clock? Pick 193.
Let's see. Can't believe Gabriel Murphy's still here. That's kind of surprising. Some other guys. Frank Virginia, I think he's going to go in the 7th. Christian Mahogany is still on the board? That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Brendan Rice, too. Yikes.
That's crazy.
He's plummeting.
What happened there?
I didn't have him on my – did I have him on my big board? I might have. I didn't love his game, though, to be honest.
No?
He did, draw a lot of penalties. There were things you definitely, there were things that you could talk yourself. But I think he'll probably be a better – he was on my list. But, yeah, he, barely made it. I didn't really love him. I fell out of love with him as the process went on. Oh, my God. Joe Milton.
Shut up.
Joe
really?
Milton.
Is that who
Barth
they took?
is gonna lose it.
Yeah.
What did I say? They're taking a quarterback.
Wow.
Oh my God! I actually watched him too. That's
Awesome.
Why is Barth going to?
I asked RG3 about the double dip. I prepared for this.
Why I said a double again. I advocate for this. I think you should always be looking late round quarterback and see what's out there. Why is Barth going to lose it?
He loves him. He's his guy. He's been touting Joe Milton all draft season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Oh my God. Wow. That's nuts.
There it is. Another quarterback. Competition for Drake May.
Oh, let's see. What's Bailey? I think Bailey Zappi's a free agent next season too. Bailey
Zappi's a free agent today. Like, let's be honest. Again, it's we have to, he got cut in favor of no one last year, so like you have two. I mean, this is the point. Joe Milton lives so Bailey Zappi doesn't have. And again, no disrespect to Bailey Zappi. He did everything that was asked of him. But again, he's only there because there was no other option at all. No veteran backup. And then Mac just puked all over himself. And they brought 7 guys in last year. And they're like, if you're better than Zappi, the job is yours. And none of them could do it. So
all right. I don't like the Joe Milton pick.
Okay, good. Tell us why.
Because he's not going to make the team. He's just not going to make the team. It's going to be.
Why would he make the team over Nathan Rourke or Bailey Zappi?
Why wouldn't he?
Why would he? Like if
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, no, I'm saying he could be your QB3.
Oh no, but I just think Zappi's I don't know.
No,
I also think you could sneak him out of the practice squad, and if you lose him, like,
that's okay. I'm okay with the practice squad, but I just feel like Sorry, I'm reading Rappaport's thing. It just, I don't know. I don't like it. I feel like they could have just stuck with what they had. Maybe even
I like it.
Quarterbacks. Like it.
I like it.
It feels a little too cute, and it feels like when you could get that developmental tight end, Tanner McLaughlin's still there. When you can get Dylan Loewe, add him to the offense.
He went to the Bengals.
What?
He went to the Bengals. Tanner McLaughlin.
Before us?
Right after the Joe
See,
Milton.
like that's tough. Passing up on a tight end that would make the roster instead of a guy who's not going to. Now, obviously, it's fun.
Didn't I say you can't get angry at this point in the draft, and you guys are getting angry?
I'm not angry. I think it's logical. They don't have any quarterbacks other than Mac Jones, other than Drake May in 2025. It makes perfect sense.
There's chatter. Joe Milton may convert to tight end.
I don't know. He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
It was in the chat. Someone said it.
Someone just threw it in the chat. He's a big dude. 6'5", 240. He's a big dude.
Let's see. Now I got to put a 5th string on my roster right now. That's funny.
I'm seeing tight end other places too.
Really?
Yeah, Benjamin Solak from the Ringer. Excellent draft for the Patriots. Multiple pass catchers at wide receiver, and now a good developmental tight end in Joe Milton.
I feel is that sarcasm?
I can't tell if it's sarcasm.
Ben, it very well could be.
I honestly think it's sarcasm. It's just funny that after that chat, never in a million years would I have expected him to profile as a tight end at the next level. This is a guy, he's huge, sure. He's got a rocket arm. I just don't think you know where it's going, right? Like he's got a big arm.
That's like Dane Brugler mentioned a tight end conversion in the Beast.
So people are not messing around here.
That is super interesting.
Wow. Okay.
So you got your tight end, Mike. So stop crying about it.
Wait, that's pretty nuts. Wait, let me look this up. I'm like processing. This is such an. They got in exchange for Mac Jones to draft Joe Milton. That's funny.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be the most exciting preseason in Patriots history.
All right.
It's pretty funny. Rappaport says Bailey Zappi likely available for trade. Boy, line up and trade for Bailey Zappi, everyone, instead of waiting for the Patriots to leave. I mean, come on.
I had a mock draft. Did I have a mock draft where they took him? I might have gone back on it. I don't remember. Let me see. I know I was going to. I think I might have swapped it out for somebody else, but I feel like I did. Let's see.
The Kadlick moment is my favorite mini arc. I don't know. I mean, look, I don't like it, but it doesn't really matter at 193.
No, it doesn't. That's what I said. I was like, aren't we not supposed to be mad here?
Right.
I'm cool with it.
There's Barth.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's our guy, Alex Barth of the Patriots Beat podcast on CLNS Media. Most exciting player in the draft.
Good for him. Good for Alex.
If you're not going to draft a punter to make Alex happy, at least get his guy here, you know? You got to give the kid something. So there it is. All right, so that's what we got. The Patriots have one more draft pick after this, round 7. Again, this is at least fun and interesting, and I am curious about this tight end conversion theory and whether it's real. As you put from Brugler, physical. Did you just read this, Taylor?
Yeah, I posted it.
No, but did you read it on the air?
No, I didn't.
Overall, Milton has the physical tools that scream first-round pick. Passing instincts and ability to read the field are undeveloped. He is a project quarterback. Some teams, as you said, believe he will transition to tight end in the NFL. Similar path as Logan Thomas. So that is interesting. You had your interesting gimmicky, what is he? Quarterback / gadget player / who knows what / wide receiver last year. And you did nothing, and you kind of mismanaged the entire situation, and then you let him go to, was it Baltimore?
Yeah.
Was it with Malik?
Yeah, he went to he went to back up Lamar Jackson. Everybody was happy for him, and they were like, "Yeah, go somewhere we'll actually use you."
Yeah, that's right.
So that happened, but here again, it's more about the project, and I guess we're definitely curious to see what happens here. I don't know that Wolf's going to give it all away and say, "Yeah, we the tight end here," but it is interesting to see whether you might bring him in and say, let's see if you can play quarterback at all. Maybe get him with some coaching and see if you can fix some of those issues. Because again, the raw physical talent is insane.
And the Patriots do like to have, and like a Malik Cunningham, the Patriots like to have their athletic QB in camp where you can like simulate certain things, like how they would have what's his name? Penn State was here last year.
Trace
McSorley. Actually, he was throwing at the combine. We saw him on the field throwing to receivers. But yeah, they use Trace McSorley. They literally just put him on another field and have him run like zone read and stuff like that. So, I don't know how much they're going to let Milton actually throw, but at the very least, he could be a camp body who simulates those kinds of things for you. And then, maybe they move him around like they did with Cunningham. So it's at the very least interesting. This is a very fascinating draft for the Patriots. And I don't really dislike any of the picks.
There you go. So again, we're gonna let Taylor and Mike go to work and go in there. I know it's a big room in here, guys. I think we've gone as far as we can go with a lot of this stuff. We made you through all the way pick 6, and again, Patriots and Ahmed. I don't know if we have the full big board updated, but I'll put up what we have up until here. Drake May, quarterback. So again, you talk about offense. Quarterback, wide receiver, O-line, wide receiver, a cornerback, possible safety in Marcellas Dial, and then yet another offensive player. Could be a quarterback, could be a tight end. We're still not entirely sure what's going on here with Joe Milton. There's some intriguing players here. There's players who I think we're going to learn a great deal more about. There's players who Tayler cannot wait to dig into film a little bit deeper to be able to unearth some of the things that we're talking about. Mike and Tayler will be back a little bit more later just to profile some of these picks for you and after they get a chance to listen and to talk to these guys. But we are most likely going to wrap it up for you here. We did want to tell you once again about our sponsor here in Prize Picks, the #1 DFS app in North America. If you want to get in on the action, especially now with the NBA playoffs, and again, we have a Celtics game coming up in about an hour here. Use that promo code CLNS up to $100 match on your first deposit. Again, all you got to do is go in, pick more or less on your players, and up to 6 different players could win 10 times your money. Prize Picks, promo code CLNS up to 100 deposit. As soon as you put it in there, it just fills out. And there's that updated thing. Amit's last gasp effort before he just fades out.
Go to bed.
Joe Milton, you traded Mac Jones. You traded a quarterback for a quarterback. You traded a quarterback sort of for a quarterback sort of.
Yes.
in Mac Jones, a quarterback in name for a quarterback in name.
Yep.
Mac Jones for Joe Milton, and that's where it ends. I can't tell everyone in the chat how thankful we were that you guys hung out with us for these couple of days. This is always a super fun time of year. I want a hat tip. We've been giving Amit a lot of props, and he absolutely deserves them. But I want to tip my hat to both Mike and Tayler, who put in, you have no idea how much work it takes just to even educate yourself on a 50, 75, 100 of these guys and the amount of film that you have to watch. And I know Tayler doesn't do it for just because it's his job. He's doing it also for fun and because it's exciting to see what these guys do, and it's what makes these guys tick, and it's what brings this type of coverage to you guys, and I do really appreciate it. I appreciate the chat and how knowledgeable so many of you guys are in here, and how many, how much you watch and how much that you bring to it, and have your opinions and have your takes on some of these picks, and also are, going back and forth with one another in a civil way. I think 2 guys said, let's meet in Foxboro and fight. And that was it. Beyond that, yeah. There was a bit of I'll meet you in Foxboro. You're not that guy, pal, going on a little bit earlier, but that was about it. But it is honestly one of the most fun times of year. Why? Because when you have a team like the Patriots, it's about promise of a new day, and always free agency and the draft. These are opportunities to improve, and the Patriots certainly did. There's really nowhere to go but up, but there's definitely some things to be excited about as we get into the mini camp and then eventually training camp, and there's a lot of stuff to watch. So again, it's going to make covering the team in the lead up to the season that much more exciting because you got new toys, you got fun stuff to look at. Everyone's going to be interested if the receivers can make a day one impact, if May is going to be able to get in there and play early. So again, a ton of stuff and a ton of fun stuff that we can do. Guys, final thoughts before we wrap it here.
One thing I will add about Joe Milton, when I watched him at the Senior Bowl, he was honestly solid, keeping the offense on schedule and making some of the throws that you just wanted to see him make, underneath accuracy. But the way he carried himself really stood out. Anytime there were coaches speaking to him, tell he was locked in and receptive. He was getting the teammates together and, really orchestrating that kind of thing. So this whole class, I feel like it's a lot of high character guys, and I think he's the latest addition to that. But again, I like this draft class, man. I know I'm Mr. Optimist and everything, but there's not a whole lot of critiques I feel like you can make. They address positions of need. They added depth at corner, which we said they needed, maybe even at safety, depending on what Marcellas Dial does. And they did need depth at quarterback. I really did think that maybe they should have addressed running back or tight end. But the 7th round pick is still there. We'll see what they do. You still got undrafted free agency. And if the Elliott Wolf follows the Packers model, they'll probably have a decent amount of undrafted guys as well. So, I'm pretty optimistic, and I'm excited to see what they do with these guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Awesome.
Hey, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, it's good.
Final thoughts here?
All good. It works. 6 offensive players and 7 picks. You hit on everything you needed to. So overall good stuff. Excited for Drake May. Everything else is solid. For them to build around. So overall, good weekend for the Patriots. And thank you all for watching, and thank you guys for letting me be a part of the draft coverage this weekend.
No, it was our pleasure, Mike, and it was just added to the coverage, which was outstanding. So I applaud you guys for all of your work and all of your efforts and all of your knowledge here. And again, thanks again to the fans in the chat. Tons more, as we said tonight. So make sure that you do check it out for anybody interested. And I know, because I recognize a lot of these names in the chat, we do have Garden Report coming up. Game tip-off is in an hour, so around 8:30, you're going to have a nice post-game show there. Bobby and Josue are in Miami, so make sure to check it out. In the meantime, stay with Patriots, CLNS and Patriots Press Pass. Head over to Discord if you want to chat. Why not? Amit's there. He's doing everything. But keep it here. There's a ton more coverage. We're going to have more interviews up there, more analysis, and as things break down, more kind of post-mortem, more information comes in, and Taylor's going to have a lot of film reviews as well. So thank you, guys. We will see you, honestly, pretty freaking soon. Take care.
Yes.